Hello, I'm the Doctor, and tonight we are going to review Doctor Who, the TV movie. Doctor Who the movie was a 1996 American made-for-TV film that tried to revive the series, which had been cancelled in 1988, long after my tenure as the Doctor. The plot deals with the Master, who has been executed by the Daleks. While taking the Master's remains back to Gallifrey, the Doctor's TARDIS malfunctions, and he winds up in San Francisco, 1999, a day before New Year's Eve. The Doctor is shot during a gang fight and taken to the hospital, where he dies on the operating table. While this is happening, the Master escapes the TARDIS and possesses the body of an ambulance driver. In the morgue, the Doctor regenerates. He then finds the Doctor that killed him, Grace, and convinces her to help him. The Master, meanwhile, has teamed up with Cheng Li, the gang member who took the Doctor to the hospital. They open up the TARDIS's power source, the Eye of Harmony, which begins to destroy the Earth. So the Doctor and Grace must stop the Master from stealing the Doctor's body, as well as close the Eye of Harmony before it destroys the Earth. This film didn't do well in America, and even though it did well in Britain, the show never went to series. Had it gone to series, we would have gotten to see Spider Daleks and Patchwork Cybermen.
Now from this point on, I'm going to continue the review in my normal voice. So when it comes to this movie, people are kind of split on it. Some like it, some hate it. I'm sort of in the middle. I think this movie is okay, but it could have been a hell of a lot better. I like how they got Sylvester McCoy to reprise his role. He still emits the same vibes that he had during his 3-year run as the Doctor, even if he doesn't say much. The supporting cast are good too, but I can't say much about Grace or Cheng Li, except that Cheng Li is greedy and cocky.
If you could have anything at all, what would it be?
I don't know. $1 million.
Only $1 million.
Okay, $2 million.
Think bigger.
$1 billion.
And what would that buy you?
Power.
And that Grace is a strong-willed woman.
Grace. Don't you see? I have 13 lives.
Please. Okay, you're trying to tell me that you've come back from the dead.
Yes.
No, sorry. The dead stay dead. You can't turn back time.
Yes, you can.
I also like all the nods to the original show, like the 4th Doctor's scarf and John Smith being the Doctor's alias. But this film still has many problems. The main problem with this film is that they make the Master the only villain, which doesn't work. In the original series, the Master would usually team up with another alien, and he would have them do the dirty work while he sat in the background and plotted. With no alien to work with, the Master is just a dull villain. However, I do like the actor Eric Roberts. He has just an aura about him that makes him likable. Interesting tidbit about the Master in this movie. After possessing Eric Roberts' body, the body was slowly supposed to deteriorate, and as the film went on, Eric Roberts' body would slowly fall apart. However, this was cut because the makeup irritated Eric's skin. The only bit left of this idea is a scene where the Master pulls off his own fingernail. Kinda wish we could have gotten that. It would have been interesting. I also have to mention Lee's reasoning for hanging out with the Master. Because you see, when Lee first enters the TARDIS and sees the Master says that he's using Eric Roberts' body. Then the Master says that Cheng Li is going to help him find the Doctor, and Cheng is like, "What's in it for me?" And the Master's like, "You get to live." So the Master just threatened Cheng Li with death, and yet for some strange reason, Cheng Li is still hanging out with the Master. Why the hell would you listen to this guy? He just threatened you with death. That makes no sense. The other problems I have with this film are mainly nitpicks. Like how the Daleks, only heard in voiceover at the beginning of the film, sound like mechanized chipmunks. I also find it odd that they make the Master look more like a monster as opposed to a normal Time Lord. I mean, he did spend time looking like a monster in the original series, but that was due to a botched regeneration. Here he just looks like a monster. Also, whose decision was it to make the Master's essence look like this? And I'm not talking about the fact that he looks like a snake. I don't have a problem with that. I'm talking about the fact that he's transparent and that color. Also this scene. That's disgusting. As for the controversial decision to make the Doctor half human, I don't have a problem with it. It's nothing to go crazy over. Speaking of the Doctor, I like him. He's played by Paul McGann, and he's one of the better incarnations of the character. He's fun, silly, and generally entertaining. He can also be very serious when the scene calls for it.
By midnight tonight, this planet will be pulled inside out. There will be nothing left.
So that's my review of Doctor Who the TV movie. It's good. It's not great, but it's not crap. Now if you'll excuse me,
I have some time traveling to do. Dun-dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-da-da-da-da, dum-ba-bum, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-na-na, 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 da-na-na.